rearing black soldier fly larvae is increasingly becoming a sustainable and economically efficient agricultural model. It has been successfully applied in many countries around the world with good results, especially in places that have abundant organic waste from agriculture, food processing, and daily household activities. The black soldier fly species is not only safe, but also helps reduce environmental pollution by quickly decomposing organic waste, lowering greenhouse gas emissions and odors compared to traditional composting methods. A successful farm requires a strict and scientific operating process, focusing on each stage in the life cycle of the fly, from adult flies to larva harvesting. This process forms a closed-loop system that optimizes yield, potentially reaching 1 to 2 tons of fresh larvae per month on an area of 100 square meters if well managed, while minimizing risks such as disease outbreaks or resource waste. In today's video, we will explore the entire process in detail, from the adult fly rearing stage to overall management, including daily and periodic tasks designed to ensure stable and healthy development of the fly colony, delivering high profits for the farmer. The adult fly rearing stage in the breeding area is the most important foundation where everything begins, because this is when the flies mate and lay eggs, determining the seed stock for the entire subsequent cycle. Adult black soldier flies have a short lifespan of only about 5 to 7 days, so it is necessary to create an ideal environment for maximum reproduction, potentially reaching thousands of eggs per female if conditions are good. The breeding area is usually designed as a net house or sealed net cage, with size depending on the farming scale, using thick netting to prevent outside insects from entering and placed in a cool, ventilated location, avoiding strong winds or direct sunlight to maintain a stable temperature of 27 to 32 degrees Celsius, the optimal temperature that allows the flies to be highly active and increases mating success rate to 80 to 90%. To operate efficiently, daily tasks must be performed carefully and consistently. First is checking the density of adult flies in the net house by counting or estimating to maintain the ideal level of 10,000 to 20,000 flies per square meter. If density is too high, the flies will compete for water and reduce reproduction efficiency, while density too low can decrease mating rate to 20 to 30%, leading to insufficient eggs for the next stage. Next, checking the drinking water source for the flies is an essential step because adult flies do not eat solid food but only absorb liquids to maintain health. In this stage, a misting system should be used, or for small scale, a direct spray bottle can be used to provide clean water continuously, avoiding blockages or contamination, because dehydration can cause mass mortality up to 50% of the colony in just 1 to 2 days. A good tip is to add diluted sugar or honey to the water to enhance nutrition and stimulate mating. At the same time, humidity and lighting in the breeding area must be checked regularly, maintaining humidity at 60 to 70% using a meter and misting if needed to prevent dryness that weakens the flies or excessive moisture that causes mold. While natural light or LED lights should provide illumination for 12 to 14 hours per day to stimulate reproductive hormones. Check the bulbs periodically to avoid prolonged darkness that reduces fly activity. Observing mating behavior is the next important task by monitoring their flying and mating, which often occurs in the morning, to detect early signs of abnormalities such as weak flies or lack of mating, allowing timely adjustments like supplementing nutrition through sugar water to improve egg production rate by 20 to 30%. Checking the egg-laying substrate, such as wooden sticks placed in the rearing area, is a task that must be done daily to ensure they are clean and maintained at 70 to 80% humidity to attract egg laying. If the substrate is dirty or contaminated with bacteria, egg quantity can decrease by 50%, so replace it periodically. Then, collect the substrates with freshly laid eggs in the morning. The peak egg laying time, using clean tools to gently transfer them to the incubation area without breaking the fragile eggs, while recording the quantity to monitor production. For example, a healthy colony can produce 1 to 2 kilograms of eggs per day. Regularly removing dead flies from the enclosure helps prevent disease spread and keeps the space clean. If the death rate exceeds 10%, immediately investigate causes such as high temperature or lack of water and address them right away. Moving to the egg incubation stage, this is an important transition step lasting about 3 to 5 days, turning eggs into healthy young larvae with a hatching rate that can reach up to 90% if environmental factors are well controlled. Black soldier fly eggs are very small, white, and clustered together, easily damaged if humidity and temperature are not stable. So the incubation area usually uses plastic trays or automatic incubators, placed in a cool place away from direct sunlight to prevent mold or drying out. Daily tasks begin with collecting eggs from the breeding area at the end of the day, gently separating them from the substrate to avoid breakage, using clean tools and recording the collection time for accurate tracking. Next, weigh or estimate the egg mass using an electronic scale for precise measurement. For example, 1 gram of eggs can hatch into thousands of larvae, helping forecast larva yield and plan feed for the subsequent rearing stage. Transferring eggs to incubation trays must be done gently, placing them on moist substrate such as chicken feed mixed with water, distributed evenly to avoid overlapping that causes oxygen deficiency for the eggs. Checking the humidity of the incubation substrate is essential, maintaining it at 70 to 80%, using a meter, and light misting 1 to 2 times per day. If too dry, eggs will shrivel. If too wet, mold will develop. At the same time, check the daily hatching rate by observation and calculation, aiming for 80 to 90% to evaluate efficiency. If the rate is low, immediately investigate causes such as dirty substrate or unstable temperature and correct them promptly. Accurately record egg collection date and hatching date using a notebook or management software to predict upcoming larva quantities and avoid storing eggs too long, which reduces hatching rate. Special attention tasks. Eggs usually hatch after 3 to 4 days at 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, so use a digital thermometer to maintain precision, as a deviation of only 2 to 3 degrees Celsius can drop the hatching rate below 70%. Also, prevent excessive dryness or wetness by using an automatic misting machine if needed, and immediately remove moldy substrate to prevent bacterial infection, ensuring young larvae are born healthy from the start and creating a good foundation for the next rearing stage. The larva rearing stage is considered the most important stage and accounts for the largest workload on the farm, because this is when larvae grow rapidly from young to mature in only 15 to 20 days depending on temperature and nutrition, consuming 2 to 3 times their body weight in feed per day, and converting organic waste into high-quality protein biomass containing 40 to 45% crude protein, rich in essential fatty acids and minerals such as calcium and iron, an ideal feed source for livestock. Larvae eat voraciously but are also easily affected by disease if not tightly controlled, so the rearing area usually uses plastic trays or cement tanks 20 to 50 centimeters high, with an area of about 5 square meters for 100 grams of eggs, covered with a roof to avoid rain and sun, and good drainage base to reduce excess moisture. Daily tasks are organized logically to ensure the highest efficiency. Starting with feed preparation, collect organic waste or agricultural byproducts such as leftover vegetables, livestock manure, beer residue, soybean residue, leftover food from restaurants or nearby farms, ensuring a stable source to avoid interruptions in feeding. Check the quality of materials by removing spoiled, contaminated, or toxic parts, because poor materials can cause mass mortality and reduce yield by 30 to 40%. Then, chop or grind the materials using a grinder so that larvae can access and digest them more quickly, accelerating growth. Mix the feed if needed, according to balanced nutrition ratios. For example, chicken manure with soybean residue at a 1-to-1 ratio, or adding 40% beer residue to increase protein, and use the microbial preparation EM to pre-compost for 1 to 2 days to reduce odors and improve decomposition efficiency. Finally, check the feed moisture at 60 to 80%, Not too wet to cause sour fermentation or too dry making it hard for larvae to eat. Checking by hand or meter to adjust promptly. Next is feeding the larvae by distributing feed evenly into trays or rearing compartments with a thickness of 10 to 15 centimeters for easy access by larvae. Check larva density to maintain the ideal level of 5 to 7 larvae per square centimeter, or about 1,000 larvae per liter of feed, avoiding overcrowding that causes stress and slows growth. Adjust feed amount according to larva age, starting small on the first days at about 100 to 200 milligrams per larva and gradually increasing as they grow, because one larva can consume 25 to 500 milligrams of fresh feed per day, depending on the stage. Checking the rearing compartments is an important daily step, including checking temperature to maintain 28 to 32 degrees Celsius using a thermometer. If higher, larvae will weaken. If lower, growth slows. Check humidity at 80 to 85%, so feed does not dry out, misting water if needed. Check odor to detect abnormal sour smells indicating excessive decomposition, requiring addition of EM or replacement of the top feed layer. And check for mold or bacteria by observing the surface, immediately removing infected parts to prevent spread to the entire tray. In managing the rearing area, gently mix the feed if needed to distribute nutrients and oxygen evenly, helping larvae eat better and reducing toxic gas buildup. Add fresh feed daily based on consumption. For example, if feed turns black, it means larvae have finished it and must be replenished immediately. Separate larvae if density is too high by moving them to a new compartment to reduce competition and stress. At the same time, remove dead larvae completely if there are signs of disease or contamination to prevent spread to surrounding areas. Checking larva health through observation of feeding speed. If slow, it may be due to lack of nutrition or disease. Normally they feed continuously and produce a rustling sound. Color should be ivory white or dull yellow indicating health, while dull gray indicates problems. Size must increase gradually with age, reaching 1 to 2 centimeters in the final stage if well reared. At the same time, detect mass mortality due to high temperature, underfeeding, or bacterial infection to isolate immediately. Diseases such as weakness and immobility can be treated with biological antibiotics like Bacillus subtilis, and white fungal infection on the surface requires immediate removal and tray disinfection. Finally, control odor by adding absorbent materials such as sawdust or bran to absorb excess liquid and reduce foul smells affecting the surrounding environment. Adjust feed amount to avoid excess causing fermentation, and increase ventilation using fans or opening doors to improve air quality, making the farm more friendly to neighboring communities. When larvae reach optimal size, the process moves to the larva harvesting stage, focusing on collecting the commercial product with the highest quality for sale fresh, dried, or as protein powder, delivering high economic value. 1 kilogram of fresh larvae can be sold for $2 to $4 United States dollars depending on the market. Daily tasks begin with checking the size of larvae to identify those ready for harvest. When larvae reach a size of 1 to 2 centimeters and a weight of 0.2 to 0.3 grams, when they turn dull yellow and are ready to pupate, usually on day 12 to 15, if temperature is good, or extending to 20 days under normal conditions. Next is harvesting by separating larvae from excess feed, using a sieve for manual filtering on small scale or automatic separator machines for large farms. Then, larvae are sorted into groups according to needs, such as fresh commercial larvae for direct livestock feeding or for drying and freezing, and a portion is retained as seed stock for pupation, accounting for about 10 to 20% to become adult flies for the next cycle. Waste management, specifically frass or larva manure, is an indispensable part to turn waste into a useful resource. With frass rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, that can improve crop yield by 20 to 30% while contributing to sustainable organic agriculture. Tasks here include collecting frass from rearing compartments after harvest, removing impurities such as leftover feed to ensure quality, sun drying to reduce moisture for easy storage, or composting with EM microorganisms to eliminate odors and decompose quickly in just 1 to 2 days, enhancing nutritional value. Then packaging as organic fertilizer for sale at 0.2 to 0.4 United States dollars per kilogram, or internal use in gardens, helping reduce the need for chemical fertilizers and saving costs for the farm. In addition to specific production stages, overall farm management tasks ensure the entire system operates smoothly, safely, and with long-term economic efficiency. Daily tasks include recording harvested larvae yield to track progress, revenue, and forecast trends, recording feed usage to manage input costs and timely reserve materials, avoiding shortages, recording survival rates of larvae and flies to evaluate rearing efficiency. For example, if survival rate is below 80%, then analyze causes for improvement, checking electricity and water to ensure stable supply, preventing interruptions from power outages or water shortages that affect temperature and humidity, checking the ventilation system to ensure fans work well, reducing temperature and toxic gases like ammonia, as well as checking for pest insects such as ants or houseflies, using pheromone traps or biological agents to prevent intrusion and protect the fly colony. Regarding weekly tasks, thoroughly clean the rearing area by wiping floors, trays, and equipment with clean water and diluted chlorine to maintain hygiene. Disinfect using UV solution or safe chemicals for thorough bacterial elimination. And maintain equipment such as feed grinders, ventilation fans, or misting machines to prevent sudden breakdowns, extending lifespan and reducing repair costs.